You ever wondered how traders get access to $100,000 to trade with without depositing a single dollar of their own money into the account? Before we get into the video, I just wanted to tell you guys that this is my new YouTube channel and I upload 2 times per week. I work hard to make sure these videos are as informative as possible for you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, comment what you enjoyed about it and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Now, without further ado, let's hop straight into the video. Before we start the video, let me ask you another question. Prop firms the easiest way to boost your trading career, or are they just another scam? First of all, what is a prop firm? Prop firm, short for proprietary trading firm, are companies that give you their money to trade with. I'm going to start this video by conveying the pros and cons of prop firms. These are the things that you have to evaluate before you personally start trading with a prop firm. This is when you decide whether you want to go with a prop firm or whether you just trade your own capital. But here's why most traders go with prop firms instead of using their own money. And let's start with the pros of why prop firms are used. And the first one is going to be what I mentioned earlier. You do not risk your own money. You trade the prop firm's money. So you don't have to deposit your own money. Instead, you pay for an evaluation, and if you pass the evaluation, you get access to so much more of your own money. Instead of trading with $500, you can trade with $100,000. And the margins of the profits that you can make are so much different on a prop firm account from that $500 live account. The second thing that prop firms take the W in is their dashboard. On brokers and live trading accounts, you don't have access to like all the trades you've taken, the data, the win rate, the risk to reward. On prop firms, their dashboards show you all of this stuff, and it's really helpful for a trader that's too lazy to journal, and you can actually take a look back at the trades that you've taken and what you need to improve on. Now, what are some of the cons of prop firms? And the first one starts with the payout cycles and the payout split. A lot of prop firms have different rules and different splits that they will give you. Most of them range from 80 to 90% of profit that you personally keep, and the prop firms get the remaining percentage. Now, the catch is in how long you have to actually wait for that payout, and that depends on the prop firm that you go with and the cycle that you decide. With one of the first prop firms that I'm going to mention, my split was 60% and I was able to withdrawal every week. However, for higher splits, you wait longer, but you get an 80% split, or you get the full 100% split if you were to wait like the entire month, for example. I believe that's one of the biggest cons because on a live account, you get to pull the money that you made that day right off the table and start fresh. On prop firms, when you lose the profit that you've already made, it tends to get really psychological and you end up either blowing the account or losing the profit that you made and struggle to get out of that drawdown to get back into profit. Another con of prop firms might be the fact that when you're paying for the evaluation, there's no guarantee that you're going to get funded. That depends on you. In a live account, you either win or you lose the trade and you will make money. You will be able to withdraw. However, when you buy a prop firm account, if you don't pass the evaluation, you're only losing the money that you actually paid for the account. Now back to the question of what is a prop firm, because I definitely missed on one of the key components. There are forex prop firms and there are futures prop firms, and the rules vary vastly depending on whether you go with futures or forex. And while futures accounts are much cheaper, the rules are very difficult. They are much harder to pass than a forex account, which typically just has the minimum days traded or the profit target. Futures accounts have minimum days traded, but a consistency rules with those minimum days traded, which means that you have to stay under a certain amount of profit to actually pass the account without violating their rules. One of the pros of going with futures instead of forex is that it's much cheaper. You can get a monthly subscription for like $100, and essentially if you blow your futures account in that month that you paid $100 for, then once the next billing cycle comes around, they will reset your account for an additional $100, essentially what you paid the first time, and you can keep going until you get funded. One of the other pros is that if you pass within the first month, the monthly billing ends and you only paid $100 for the account, and then there's an activation fee to actually get the funded account once you passed it. I think we've gotten far enough into the pros and cons of prop firms. Now let me give you some specific prop firms that I personally trade with and I'd rank as my top 5. Out of this list, I want you guys to comment which ones you guys personally trade with or will get into trading with once you learn more about their rules and the payout conditions. Now, let's start from my number 1 prop firm, and this is my number 1 because I've traded with it for the longest amount of time, and it's Funding Pips, which you may know of very well, because Funding Pips has been in the field for such a long time. And Funding Pips has never denied a single payout for me or I believe for anybody else. One of my favorite things about Funding Pips is because it was a forex firm, the rules were very simple. It was just making a 8% on the first phase and a 5% on the second phase to pass the account. The second thing is for payout conditions, you only need to make above 1% and then you can withdraw. So it was very easy for me to get payouts on a Funding Pips funded account. One of the cons of Funding Pips is that their payout cycle was 60% of a profit split if you decide to withdraw once per week. If you withdraw every 2 weeks, then you get 80%, and then once a month you get 100% of your profit split. But that's obviously waiting too long, and I just always went with the 1 week 60% split so I could always take money off the table as soon as I earned it. My second top prop firm, and this is also a forex prop firm, is FTMO. FTMO has been in the game even longer than Funding Pips, and it's clear that they just know what they're doing and they have a profitable business cycle. When you're looking for a prop firm, you want to make sure that you find one that's going to last, because you don't want to end up spending a month trying to get funded and then the prop firm shutting down or the prop firm stopping to pay out traders. FTMO has been in the game for such a long time, and the only con is that they no longer allow USA traders. I'm still tossing FTMO out there because I'm sure a lot of you guys will still be able to trade with them. It's just that considering that I'm from the USA, I'm no longer able to trade with FTMO. My third favorite prop firm is going to be TopStepX, and this is a futures prop firm, and as I mentioned earlier, for $99 you can get a 100k account versus from a forex firm that's typically around $500. And one of the downsides of TopStepX is going to be their daily drawdown. You're going to be working with 3% total drawdown on a 100k account instead of the usual 5% in a day and 10% total on a forex prop firm. However, here's where the benefits come into play. On a forex firm, you can only trade with one account maximum at a time. But on futures, you can, especially TopStepX, their platform allows you to copy up to 5 accounts. So you buy 5 accounts, you fund them, and then you connect them to each other. So you choose a leading account and all 4 of the other ones copy the trades that are placed on this one. So essentially when you take winning trades, you win on all the accounts. But that's also true of losing trades. So it's up to you. If you are able to take the loss on however much you spend on all these accounts, then it's definitely worth it for you to do that. The fourth top prop firm that I'm going to mention is also a futures prop firm. And this prop firm is definitely my favorite in terms of the payout condition out of any prop firm that I've ever seen. And this prop firm is TradeDay. TradeDay, while it previously only allowed you to trade with one account maximum at a time, they now have the same rule as TopStepX. So honestly, I'd even put them in the higher ranking if it wasn't for their rules. I'd put them as my number 1 in fact, because TradeDay's payout policies allows you to pay yourself out at the end of each trading day. And like I mentioned, I love doing that with a live account. Being able to take money off the table in that same day is definitely a game changer. TradeDay's rules are pretty difficult. So unlike the usual 50% consistency rule that other futures prop firms have, they have a 30% consistency rule and they have 7 minimum trading days. So you have to at least trade for 7 days minimum on that challenge before you can pass it and get a funded account. However, once you're funded and you get the 3% buffer that they make you get before you can get payouts, you can withdraw into the 3% buffer. So on 100k, you can literally just withdraw that 3k. Your account would get blown because you withdrew the whole buffer. However, you already walked away with 3k profit. But here's why you shouldn't do that. Because of their payout condition, which is my favorite out of any prop firm that I've seen. And that's because they allow you to withdraw at the end of every day. Everything on top of that 3% that you make, and the 3% buffer technically, you can withdraw at the end of the day. As soon as the market closes, you withdraw and they will send you that money in that same day. So that's definitely the best prop firm payout conditions that I've seen out of any firm. And you might have not heard about TradeDay, but it's definitely one of my favorites. The last and final favorite prop firm that I've used is going to be E8, and that's just because Funding Pips did not have a good platform. Funding Pips made me use MatchTrader because for USA traders, they didn't allow TradeLocker and MetaTrader 5. E8 did allow it for some reason, and I'm not sure why Funding Pips couldn't do that, but they had platforms that normally US traders wouldn't be able to use that just made the experience a lot better. They also allowed you to customize your account as much as you wanted. You could pay a little bit extra for more drawdown, so you could be working with 12% total instead of 10%. This is also a forex prop firm, by the way. You could customize being able to swing the account over the weekends. You can trade news events and all these other things that are typically restricted on other prop firms. E8 would allow you to actually be able to do those things as long as you paid a little bit extra. Now, those are my top 5 prop firms, and if you've used any of these, comment which ones you've used and which ones you're currently using. Maybe some that I haven't covered in this video, and I'll go over in another video. I just want you guys to know that when you're going for a prop firm, don't go for where the hype is at, because the hype can go around something that isn't there to last. Go for something that works personally with you, whether you like to trade futures more or forex, whether you're fine with taking a harder challenge but you'd rather be able to withdraw at the end of every day, or maybe you're fine with waiting a week to withdraw, or maybe you're fine with top step X policy where you have to get 5 winning days to withdraw. It all depends on your personality and your style of trading. Make sure that you choose the prop firm that's best suited for you. Now, once again, if you've enjoyed this video, I'm curious what prop firms you guys are using. So drop them in the comments and let me know which ones maybe I should go over. Thank you all for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel to get more videos just like this one. See you guys in the next video.